and welcome to another video from oorail. In this video we're going to show you how to build a steam era coaling stage, or at least the basic one, using some household items. So you're going to need some stick glue, some PVA glue, some craft sticks, and you're going to want the kind of square end rectangular shaped ones, not the kind of toothpick kind. So you're kind of like a square rectangular shaped, square ends, rectangular shaped craft sticks. You're going to need some sugar cubes. Yep, and not quite sure what sizes these come in the UK, but these are about a centimeter cubed, I think, thereabouts. And you're going to need some of those. And you're also going to need some 1 to 2 millimeter card, and you're going to need to draw a template. This is about 50 millimeters by 120 millimeters, and then this section here is 10 millimeters long, or sorry, 10 centimeters long. So it's 50 by 100, and then it's 120 to the end. And basically, this is going to be your coaling stage. This is going to be an empty area, and this is going to be the steps up to it. And so it's quite simple. You're also going to need, if you want to make it look a little bit more realistic, some texture sheets. We're going to use this wooden platform texture sheet from modelscenery.com. It's TX126 in 00 scale. Alright, so let's walk you through the quick steps, and I'm going to go and do it. So basically, you're going to take this and glue it to the card. Then you're going to take your sugar cubes and basically build a level of them within here. And then you're going to go take a second layer and build them up. And then you're going to cut this out and glue it to a 50 by 120 millimeter piece of card. And then you're going to basically wrap it around the edges, glue it on top of the sugar cubes once the sugar cubes have dried, and then you're going to go and paint these brown. And while you're doing that, you're also going to paint the walls or the sugar cubes a kind of a gray color once they've dried. And then what we're going to do at the end is take a sharp object and basically carve the kind of brick mortar kind of lines into the sugar cubes, and then we'll paint that with a toothpick with a kind of a lighter gray color or a black color maybe, and then we'll show you the end result. So I'm going to get cutting, and we'll kind of show you the progress as we go along. Okay, so we've cut out the base, which is going to sit like so, and we're going to put the sugar cubes in this section here. I've also cut out a duplicate of the base, just using the base as a template, and then I cut out a section that I can wrap that with, so it's a little bit bigger than the template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue on this and basically put it on there and then wrap it so that it looks like a set of planks. I'm probably going to line this up so it hits start like that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll show you some more progress. Okay, so we've got a backing sheet on here. You can see here I've wrapped the thing around the edge lines pretty neatly. So we're going to use that as a platform later on, so we're going to set this aside. And for now, we're going to go ahead and build the stuff there. So let's go ahead and build the wall up. And so what we're going to do is just do a bit of a squirt PVA glue all around here, like so. We're going to get a fairly decent amount of adhesion, and then we're just going to go and kind of use the stick here to spread it out, like so. Okay, and then we're just going to start down this bottom corner and basically just placing the sugar cubes. So now with each sugar cube you're going to want to take just a dab of glue like so. And depending on the size of your sugar cubes, you may find, like I just have, that you need to push them along a little bit to make the last one fit. That's alright. This will basically become the base for the top step, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so now we're just going to start the next row, but this time we're going to apply some glue to the front as well as the side. So don't need to apply it to the side for the first one, but we do for the next one. So once you figured out which sides you're gluing, you glue that side and you glue that side and drop it in place. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing this until I've got an entire base done, and then we'll show you what happens. Okay, so you can see here I've got the first layer done. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to reinforce this by just running some glue down along here, along the crevices. And what that's going to do is it's just going to basically seep in and help secure the sugar together, like so. It's kind of like almost like mortar and brick. Now the reason we're using sugar cubes is that when you paint the sugar cubes, it's actually going to give you this kind of stone brick type texture that you can't really get just using card. You've seen me do it in the past using polyfiller, and the effect you just get with the sugar cubes is just so much more realistic, and it's a lot easier to work with than the polyfiller. And you can thank my daughter's 6th grade teacher for this, because my daughter had a pyramid project where she had to build a pyramid out of all these sugar cubes, so she had them laying around, and then when I saw the texture on the pyramid after she painted it, I realized, hey, that looks just like stone. And so I said, I bet you can use that for the model railway. Alright, so I'm going to let that seep for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then what we're going to do is we'll take the stick and rub it in over the top and apply some more glue, probably along the center in between those, and then apply a second layer. And then once that second layer is on, I'm going to go and put a heavy object on the top of this overnight to let it kind of settle, as well as sort of, just hold it together. And then tomorrow we'll paint it, build the stairs, build the wooden frame. And so if you want an idea of how the wooden frame is going to look, you're basically going to have these oh, it's broken. You're going to basically have these painted wooden, kind of brown, just built up to build a wall, and probably 2 on each side and 2 there. Probably build them up 4 or 5 high, and then probably put a brace, 1 or 2 on the back here, and you should have a fairly decent looking cooling stage. Alright, so I'm going to go do the top layer, and then we'll show you the end result before I put the weight on it overnight. Okay, so here is the completed wall. It's approximately, I think, 2.5 about 2.5 centimeters high. Now you remember that I cut this to full length, so what you have to do is sort of line it up with this with a little bit of an overlap, and then basically trim off the edge. The reason for that is that you don't know how big the sugar cubes are going to actually end up being, and there's a little overlap on the back as well. If I turn it this way, you can probably see it. Now that back overlap is actually going to be what you use for the wooden frame on here. So even though this will work okay, you'll be building it up on the back like so. Alright, so the next step is to basically install this. Now there is a unclean edge on the side, it's just white, but we're building a wall up on this side, so it doesn't really matter. So you want to make sure that that lines up like that, and then just press down on it reasonably well. Now it's most likely not going to stay there, so you're going to need some kind of a weight, and so I'm going to go and use a old UPS battery. They're pretty heavy and they sit on there pretty well. If you have a power drill, you can use the battery off a power drill, or even the whole power drill, and it'll just sit there for a while. And you usually need it to sit there for a couple hours to glue properly. And then once that's done, you can paint it, and it should hopefully look pretty decent. So I'm going to go and put some weight down on this, and then let it glue for a while, and then we'll do painting in a couple hours.